This is the first day of summer, by the way.
Yes, it is. That was a summer theme, and the readings will be a summer theme. So, Katie, when you are ready for live stream, we will get started.
We're live.
We're live. Okay, so welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tullahoma. Today is Sunday, June 20th, 2021. So welcome to all those of you on Zoom. Welcome to those of you live streaming, and welcome to those of you watching this on a recording. So yes, tomorrow is summer solstice, the longest day of the year. And it's also Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to those of you who are fathers. And I personally feel a need to acknowledge the feminine as also, because it's kind of hard to be a father without participation of the female aspect, the women. So also feel it's necessary to acknowledge that. So our opening reading comes from Leslie Coons. We come together this morning as celebrants, as seekers and companions. We enter into this, the longest day, joyfully allowing ourselves the beauty of this time together, in which we may rest our cares and sorrows and allow our hearts and spirits to be uplifted. I invite you to take a deep breath, drink in the beauty and community that surrounds you in this place, and as you release it, become centered here in the now. We'll now move on to the Chalice Lighting.
Today's Chalice Lighting comes from the Unitarian website. Blessed is the fire that burns deep in our soul. It is the flame of the human spirit touched into being by the mystery of life. It is the fire of reason, the fire of compassion, the fire of community, the fire of justice, the fire of faith. It is the fire of love burning deep in the human heart, the divine glow in every life.
We now move to announcements, and I'll make the first announcement about contributing to the church. If you wish to contribute to the work of the church, please send donations to our P.O. Box at 331 in Tullahoma, 37388. And we are wrapping up our budgeting process right now. So if you wish to make a pledge and have not done so yet, there's still a narrow window of time to do that. We'll have our annual meeting and approval of the budget next Sunday. But there's still time to get a pledge in if you have not yet done so. So that's it for that announcement. Other announcements. Katie.
There will be a board meeting after Talkback today. And also, I just want to let you know that Ricky's having internet trouble, so he's trying to get online, but his internet's down at the moment. He just wanted me to let y'all know that.
Thank you. Other announcements. Gene, you're muted.
Okay. If any of our members are horse people, the president of the Tennessee Fine Arts Center has now purchased what used to be the horse
stables on Kings Lane.
Yes, and the first guest is on their way to that horse B&B. It's a horse that was a fine racehorse, beautiful animal. It was scheduled to be gotten rid of unless somebody accepted the horse. So that horse is now on its way to Tullahoma for several months of rehab, and apparently its injury was not that bad. And it'll have a nice life. thanks to the folks who are, by the way, that Dr. King's horse place was in incredibly bad shape, and homeless people were living in it, and it was a mess, and it's now being totally redone. Lots of folks are working hard, volunteers, to get this thing ready for horse guests that are coming to Tullahoma. So
I'm so glad to hear that.
it's great.
That building is so beautiful, and I just hated the idea of it being demolished. So that is just wonderful. I love that.
Yeah, it looks like some folks cashed in their retirement.
Yeah.
Thing rolling.
An artist friend and I had the idea of making it artist studios. We thought that would be really, really neat.
And from what I understand, it has 71 stalls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of room and ready for horses that need to stay alive.
That's a wonderful thing.
Phone off.
Thank you, Gene. That's great. Appreciate that. Other announcements? Yes, Tony.
To piggyback off the volunteer effort there, on Wednesday evening, June 30th from 6 to 8 p.m., D.W. Wilson, Tullahoma Building Codes Department is going to host an initial volunteers organization group meeting. It's going to talk about code enforcement efforts, projects coming up, and try and coordinate different volunteer groups to actually meet needs and make a more organized effort. If anybody is part of a group, we highly encourage you to attend, or if you're an individual wanting to join a group, please attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Could you send out the specifics of that time? Just reply to this email so everybody gets that, the date and time, where it's at?
I will, and I'm going to post that on the city's Facebook page tomorrow as well. So when I get that, I will post it then.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Rick.
Yeah, along those same lines, our often speaker and should-be member, Robin Dunn, has a Green Kingsport, I believe it's called, a group that meets on Monday at the offices of the city. And she is focusing a lot on stormwater control and treatment, and also other issues which individuals might bring up along the lines of what Tony is saying. She is doing a great job on that. She's bringing in people that are experts in the area, and I really appreciate that effort by Robin, who seems to be among the lead of our aldermen. And I guess I encourage anyone that's interested in greening Kingsport, and that has to do with recycling as well as stormwater control. You can look her up or call her and get the details on the meetings. I think it's the first Monday. I miss the meetings a lot, but
Greening Tullahoma, right?
Greening Tullahoma, I believe is the name of it. Yeah, Green Tullahoma.
You said Kingsport.
Did I? I'm sorry. Well, Kingsport, after 50 years, after 51 years, I'm kind of still plugged into that. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, Carrie?
Next Saturday, the Community Council for Diversity and Inclusion is having a town hall meeting at CD Stamps. It is on the COVID vaccine distribution, and everybody is welcome to attend this. There will be 5 speakers coming from Vanderbilt, and there are several people from local health organizations, etc., speaking. There will be a teenage girl talking about her experience having the COVID vaccine, and it starts at 11 o'clock at CD Stamps on June the 26th. I'm really glad to announce that. So if you have anybody who's hesitant about getting it, if they're interested in any information, that would be the place to come. One of the doctors is a specialist in obstetrics and gynecology, and vaccinations impact on pregnancies and and fertility. So I think that's really terrific. The Community Council for Diversity and Inclusion is a new organization in town, and this is their first event. So Saturday at CD Stamps at 11 o'clock.
All right. Thank you, Carrie.
I have a question. Where is CD Stamps?
On Jackson as you come in from your direction. It's on the left.
Across from Light Tube, across from the utility.
Okay, thank
Tullahoma
you.
Utility.
Any other announcements? Tom?
I would just like to say my daughter just checked in. That's why I got 3 more to go. This is Father's Day. And there's my other daughter.
Okay. Any other announcements?
Yeah.
Carrie, again?
Next Sunday, I don't have a speaker. And I would really love for somebody to be willing to speak for about 15 or 20 minutes. We've got the congregational meeting that day, so that'll cut the meeting short. And we also are going to try to patch in with the General Assembly Sunday morning service at 11 o'clock. So I just need somebody to speak for about 20 minutes if anybody is willing to do that.
All right.
How about
No
a nice
talkback.
meditation? How about a nice meditation for 15 minutes?
I don't think I can handle 15 minutes of
A
meditation.
guided meditation. You
Yeah.
can hear.
Yeah. Well, I may call you for that, Brig.
You know my number.
I do, yeah.
All right. Other announcements?
Oh,
I have a question, Carrie. Are we going to have Ken Sizemore anytime soon?
he hasn't contacted anybody in the church, so I have a feeling he's not traveling yet.
Okay.
Oh, another thing. I don't have a speaker for the 4th of July. I can't imagine why. So I'm really concerned about that. I may have to talk. You know that you don't want that to happen. So please, somebody volunteer.
All right. Very good.
But the last speaker in June is going to be a woman who wants to share her spirituality and environmental concerns. And I thought that was perfect for our congregation. I've been trying to get her for a while, so she finally called last night, and she's booked the last Sunday in June.
You mean the last Sunday in July?
July, thank you, yes.
Okay, very good. Anything else? All right, next we're moving on to our speaker, but before we do that, I think we have a visitor here, Sharon, and in the past we introduced new people or had them introduce themselves, actually, just say a few words where they're coming from and how they heard about us. So I'd like to do that, Sharon, if you're there. We don't have a picture, but if you have audio, just tell us a little bit about where you live and how you heard about us.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry. We know you. There's supposed to be a different Sharon showing up as a guest today, and I thought you were a new person.
It was a Sarah, not the Sharon.
Sarah.
Oh, Sarah, not Sharon. Okay, that's my bad. Well, anyway, welcome, Sharon.
How's Alaska?
Yeah, and in the land of the midnight sun. So,
right.
Yep. Okay. My bad. So, okay, we will then move on to our speaker. So if everybody will go ahead and mute. Oh, well, my assistant just told me we have a responsive reading to read before we do the speaker. So let's do that. So this also is a responsive reading out of our book. It's 547, and it's called Summer Meditation by Robert T. Weston. So we'll go with that. Now blows the wind with soft, relaxing warmth.
The sun beats down. The schools are out.
Children bustle in the playgrounds and in the streets, and eager city folk Vacation-bound crowd the broad highways.
The lakes and the seashore lose their solitude, and all the world seems turned into a carnival.
What of ourselves? There could be now deep peace, a time for soul searching.
We might turn to examine our own lives, to sort and to probe our tendencies of thought.
To sift the true from the false in the things of doubt.
The beautiful from the ugliness unmarked.
The sun beats down. It is a time for pause.
Even the trees seem to be resting for a time, as if to meditate and gather strength for the more strenuous times that lie ahead.
Here is the unfinished clay, half molded, that still waits on us.
To think what we have been as we are and what we are still yet to become.
All right, now we will move on to our speaker, Brig Brown, and I believe the topic is, or the title is Thoughts, Where They Come From, and Are we Responsible for Our Thoughts? So Brig, good to see you back again, and it is all yours.
Thank you, and good morning again. Happy Father's Day. It is so nice to see you all here. It could be more, I think. So thank you so much for inviting me to share with you again. So what are you thinking? Are you thinking what I'm thinking, that I think you're thinking I'm thinking? Because if you think that I think what I think I'm thinking, then we've got a problem. Can you repeat that? So I think you have a good idea what today's subject is, and it was announced too. Today, I will share with you my understanding of the power of thoughts. I hope you can all embrace this presentation and use it as seeds for your thoughts. Let's begin with a poem by Walter Winter, read by Tom.
Tom, you're muted.
Tom, you're muted.
You're still muted.
Trying. There we go. There you go. It's getting the cursor on that little thing. So anyway, this is a delightful poem, and it was, there are analogies in my family when growing up. And one of those was, can't means won't try. And this is similar. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you'd like to win, but don't think you can, you can't. It's almost a cinch you won't. If you think you'll lose, you've lost. For out in the world we find success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You get to think. You've got to think to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win the prize. Life battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later, the person who wins is the one who thinks he can.
Thank you, Tom. That was great. A new study has found the average person has about 6,000 thoughts every day. We are aware of a tiny fraction of thinking that goes on in our mind, and we can control only a tiny part of our conscious thoughts. The vast majority of our thinking efforts goes on subconsciously. Only 1 or 2 of these thoughts are likely to breach into consciousness at a time. Thoughts trigger emotion, and then which then triggers a body reaction and drives us to act in a certain way. This thought pattern creates a mental circuit in your brain, and as we repeat it, it becomes a subconscious behavioral pattern that runs on automation. This is how your thoughts shape your reality. The mind has three basic functions: thinking, feeling, and desires, wanting. The three functions of the mind can be guided or directed either by one's native egocentrism or by one's potential capacities. Now, I could continue to talk about the subject scientifically, though I don't think anybody here expects that from me, do you? My focus is on the practical, more useful side when talking about thoughts. Listen, the first place we lose our battle is in our thinking. If you think it's permanent, then it's permanent. If you think you have reached your limits, then you have. If you think you never get well, then you won't. You have to change your thinking to live the life you really want to live. You need to see everything that is holding you back, every obstacle and every limitation as only temporary. You are not what you think you are. You are what you think. Think about that for a moment. So, are we responsible for our thoughts? Let me get right to the point. Not exactly. We are not responsible for what we're thinking. Thoughts just come up. We are, however, in some way responsible how we think. We can influence where our thoughts originate. Of course, in order to do that, you have to fully understand that you are the only one who is thinking your thoughts. You're the only one who's thinking your thoughts. Have you ever blamed someone for your way of thinking? Do you think that anybody has the power to place thoughts into your mind? Of course not, unless you are not aware. You cannot blame anyone else for what you are thinking. When you understand that you can change the way you think by changing your mindset, everything in your life will change for the better. Thoughts manifest with repetition, visually and verbally. Make sure you think happy thoughts, because the thoughts you think create a feeling and emotions. The thoughts you think are the key factor for what you say and do. The entire quality of your life is totally dependent on the thoughts you think. Thoughts can be destructive and damaging. They can lead to depression and despair. Thoughts can also lift your spirits and make your heart sing. People who live their lives with an attitude of gratitude mostly think happy thoughts and live accordingly. People who are constantly think how poor they are, how difficult are their lives, and how much more difficult it's going to be, stay in the same situation and might even make it worse. Friends, identifying and changing where your thoughts originate will change your life. Changing your thinking habits will change how you feel and how you act and how you react. Now, That might feel difficult for some who are in the habit of judging, criticizing, watching disasters on television unfold, and are influenced by negative role models. Donald Trump comes to mind. Your mind is getting food that can make you sick, lonely, afraid, and even depressed, mostly without your awareness. It will take much effort to change the habits that feed your mind. Your environment often sneaks in unfiltered information that can cause uncontrolling devastation. Start monitoring what goes on in your mind. Your mindset is controlling your lives. Let me share an example. For most of my life, I thought of myself as a victim. And how could I not? I never thought after what happened to me, I could think of myself in any other way. I was damaged. I was broken. And I was holding on to the experiences that caused my way of thinking. I thought of it as my life, something I had to surrender to. I suffered tremendous emotional pain, and no matter what I did to heal, it wouldn't work completely. I fought hard for my life and tried out avenues for healing most of you have never heard of or would not approve of. I did have some success at times, but then kept falling back again and again. One day, a few years ago, a stranger, someone I had shared my story with because I thought it might help him, wrote a letter to me. Dear lady, after learning about your past, I felt that I was in the presence of a hero. Your story made all the difference in the world to me. You were able not only survive unimaginable abuse, you were able to thrive. You are a hero soul who took the opportunity to transcend a cycle of abuse. Your fight gave me hope and strength for my fight. Thank you. Now, everyone awakens in different ways. For some, it is a word, for others, an experience. You are a hero soul. That did it for me. It was like a Band-Aid was ripped off and took all the gunk of the past with it. You see, the reason that I could not heal totally before was that I was still thinking of myself as a victim for life. That mindset was a barrier for changes, and I thought it to be right. I believed that I had to work on forgetting what happened to me. It took only one word to unlock my awareness. I am a hero, and I accepted that instantly. In this moment, my true healing began. I transcended from a victim state of mind to survivor mind in a split moment. I realized that my past no longer had a hold on me. My past was what I chose it to think it was. I did not have to forget it, but embrace it as a temporary experience that is over now and does not define who I am. I no longer thought of myself as a victim. I learned who I was in the core, and I had to agree that it was I who had hurt myself the most with my thoughts. That was when I got passionate and to train my brain for a different mindset. I never wanted to go back to past thinking patterns. And that's what it was. I'm always in training. I no longer suffer. Think about this for a moment. I insisted that suffering was unavoidable because of the way I was thinking. Now, if you think that you have a reason to suffer, I hope with all my heart that you have learned today that you can change your way of thinking by paying attention to how you live, what you read, how you talk to yourself, what you are watching, what you share with others, and the people you hang out with. Be aware of your thoughts, as awareness is the key to change. Right thinking comes with self-knowledge. Without understanding yourself, you have absolutely no basis for thought. Your mind will pick up food for thoughts from everything you see, smell, read, or hear. Thoughts will entertain you with random appearances, and through repetition, you will start to believe what goes on in your head, and you will act upon it without much hesitation or thought. Pay close attention to what goes on in your mind. Clear your channel with mindful meditation or self-awareness practices. You see, the sky is not the limit, the mind is. Think conscious thoughts. Think happy thoughts. Carrie? Carrie?
Think happy thoughts. Think happy thoughts. Think sunshine all the day. Refuse to let the trifling worries stay. Crowd them with thoughts of laughter from your mind. Think of the good. Forget the bad you find. Think of the sun behind the clouds, the blue and not the gray skies that you view. Think of the kindness, not the meanness shown. The true friends, not the false ones you have known. The joy and not the hatred of the strife. The sweetness, not the bitterness of life. Think happy thoughts. Think happy thoughts. Think always of the best. Think of the ones you love, not those that you detest. Think of your victories and not your failures here. The smile that pleased and not the hurtful sneer. The kind word and not the harsh word spoken. The promise kept and not the promise broken. The good that you have known and not the bad. The happy days that were and not the sad. Think of the rose, not the withered flower. The beauty of the rainbow, not the shower. Think happy thoughts. Think happy thoughts. This is true happiness. That life is sad, that feeds on its distress. That mind is gloomy, that subsists on gloom, and is as dismal as a curtained room, where daily comes the sunshine, but to find it cannot enter through the closed drawn blind. Fling up the curtains of your mind today, and let the morning sunshine in to play. Dwell on the joys and not the sorrows here. Master your thoughts, and you have mastered fear. Think happy thoughts. Edgar Albert Guest.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you all. It was a great honor to be here with you today, and I hope that something will be seeds for your thoughts today.
Thank you, Brig.
Thank you, Brig.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Carrie.
We will now close with our traditional song, As We Leave This Friendly Place. So,
Okay. As we leave this friendly place,
Love give light to every face. May the kindness which we learn light our hearts till we return.
Yay.
All right. So it is 13 minutes till 11. Let's just take about a 13-minute break. Let's come back right at 11 o'clock and we will do Talkback.
Okay.
Rick, I just got word from